Hey guys, it's Carly here, advocate of Voice for Kids. Just thought I'd come and say a quick hello because it's been a little while since I've been able to. I've been really busy. I've actually been moving house and I've done it twice in the last 3 months. So yeah, not a good journey. I don't envy anyone that's got to move house. So it's been a little bit of having me not around. But I just thought I'd pop in and say hello and thank everyone for lovely messages I've been having through Voice for Kids. A lot of people have been coming on and just giving me some private messages about how Voice for Kids has been helping them. Had people say they want to share the page a lot more onto some sites that they actually know of. And it's been great to get the feedback that we're getting with Voice for Kids. So Voice for Kids is on a journey of just trying to always go to another level and take it to another place with new positive direction at all times. So I just want to put a question out there to a lot of you that are in a situation of co-parenting. And I know for many of you it's not easy, and I know a lot of you want to make it easy and want to do it really well with your ex, though the other partner seems to not be willing to take that road with you. Though I could be also speaking to people right now who are looking at separating or are just at that point of separating and looking at mediation, and you're looking for something that's actually going to help you with your kids. And this is the area that I want to speak into right now. So, like I've said a lot of times before, a lot of parents, due to whatever circumstance and situation, will head straight to the lawyer, get their advice from their lawyer, and from that point, head straight into the court and just go down that road immediately without really thinking too much of the ramifications, how the kids might feel. They're just going for a, all-in win. And I'm just trying to enlighten you that that's not always the best interest of your children. Even yourself. I've seen too many parents that are really hurt by going through the court systems, the results that the judge has given. And what I'm trying to teach parents is, especially in co-parenting, is there's always another way if you choose to wisely choose that avenue. And my goal with Voice for Kids is to enlighten parents on another way, a better way, a way that actually your kids can move forward. Your goal in life as a parent, and especially in co-parenting, is to raise well-adjusted children. That's what your goal should be, no matter what, whether you're together or you're apart. But especially after separation and divorce, raising well-adjusted children really can determine on you, your actions, what you say to your partner, what avenues you choose to go. There's so many different concepts in all this. So I would like to know from feedback from this video, and I'd love for you to share this video out to as many parent pages, divorce pages, separation pages, parental alienation pages, wherever you want to send this video. How would you feel if you could do a course of some kind? It's like a mediation. You go into mediation. I do recommend mediation. I don't think, you wipe mediation out. I think sitting there and going through mediation with a counsellor is a good idea. But if there was a course, something that you could purchase that could save you going through the court, that could give you great insight into how your children feel. So it will give you all the tips about, the best way to talk to these kids, a parenting plan. It will give you communication skills between each other. It will enlighten you on how the children feel at, all different stages. How to introduce a new partner into your life and the best way to do it in the best interest of the kids, the time frame in which to do that. A course that's actually going to give you insight and save you a lot of money. I've heard astronomical amounts of money. I remember being at a rally a couple of years ago, and this man had spent, I think it was over $200,000 fighting to see his son. And I just could not believe the amount of money that some people have spent in the court. And I know they're doing it because they miss their children. I get the point. But, it's so sad that some parents will go to the death of killing the other parent in the way of killing them by just totally draining out their bank accounts and everything else. just to win the battle. I'm not condoning abuse here. I'm not condoning that someone's had an affair on you. I'm not condoning that there's a good reason that you're angry if you're in that position. But I am saying to you, how far will you go? How far will you take this fight before you realise that what you're doing is actually destroying your own children? You've got to remember that the children, half of the children is that partner that you hate. That's half of their DNA, and that's the reality of it. As much as you hate him or you hate her, the reality is half of them is them. And you will look at your child sometimes and you'll see certain facial expressions that will remind you of your ex. You look at your child sometimes and see reaction that will remind you of your ex. There's all those things that are going to come up, and that's for the rest of your life because they're your kids. But are you going to hold it against them? Because my question to you is, if you're going to take your ex to court just because you want revenge, I can tell you now, momentarily, yeah, okay, they might need a, bit of a clip around the back of the ears for what they did. I'm not justifying what they've done is wrong. But I think the higher cost that you're going to pay is the stability of your kids. I can guarantee that most kids who've been through the court system, and I didn't go through the court system, remember, wish they didn't go through it. They wish their parents didn't go through it. They just wish there was another way. And the reason I didn't go through it is because my parents decided to make a decision. They decided that I would live in one house. They decided that every second weekend I would be with the other parent. During the week I'd see my mum. They made a decision on that, and thank God they did, because if you read my story and everything that I went through anyway, and Please Don't Go, you'll understand how hard it was for me anyway. Thank God I didn't go through the court system. But there are so many children that are dragged through this, day in, day out for years and years and years. They're the losers in the end. They are the losers in the end. The children lose out big time when you drag them through a court system. What if you could, take the mature approach? Obviously have a few months between your separation and just have that time to breathe, chill down, get some counselling for yourself and get some mediation, and take a course that I'm looking at writing, which will give you total insight into what's the best interest of your kids. How are you going to communicate to each other now? Treat this like a business so that your children have a better outcome with all your decisions. And I know some parents are saying right now as they're watching this, oh yeah, that's all good and well, Carla, but you don't understand what he's like or she's like, and they don't listen to me. I get that. I know that's there, and I can't even stop that. But I can only hope that some parents right now who, at the end of the day, can broaden their minds a bit, broaden their thinking. Remember back to when you did love that person. Remember back to when the good times you were before you separated. Go back to who that person was. Look at that person as a dad. Is he actually a good dad? Besides what he just did to me, is he actually still a good dad? Besides what she did to me, is she actually still a good mum? Should I take that away from them, which will hurt the kids, trust me. Should I take that away from them, or should we just go calmly and work this out so that in the best interest of the kids, we do this civilly? Because what your actions are today will determine their future, I can tell you now. Your actions today will determine their future. How they carry themselves, how they hold themselves, how they see relationships, it will determine their future. And for me, because my parents didn't talk about their separation at 9, and they thought in my best interest, which is fine, not to talk to me was probably an easy thing because they didn't want to upset me, they didn't want to bring up the topic, they didn't want to, have discussions because they thought it might just bring everything up. That's what they thought was best. So they've learned over the years, especially my mum's learned over the years, that that wasn't in my best interest. And what I needed was them to sit down with me and talk to me and explain to me, but why did it happen? But, I didn't understand this and I didn't understand that, and then to give me answers. That's what I needed. And what your kids are needing right now is they need you to be supportive to them. Before you go down that whole system of the court, before you go down everything like that, I highly recommend you sit down with your kids and ask them how they feel about going through the court system. Ask them. You're not dragging them into the topic. You're not making them make adult decisions, but ask them. Would you prefer, as much as, Dad and I have had our differences, or Mum and I have had our differences, would you prefer us to sit down and work out something that is going to help you to be in both of our lives? That we can both have you two in our lives and do things that we've always done, but it will look different. The picture will look different, but it will actually work out that you'll still get to do those great things with Dad and those things with me. And even the kid might go, wow, you know, are you okay with that, mum, after what he did to you? Or are you okay with that, dad, after what she did? Like, because the kids might think, wow, my mum and dad's being really sensible about this, but that's what you need to be. You need to be the adult. This is the problem I'm finding with separated parents a lot of the time. They suddenly become kids. They become like two kids in a high school, and they become like two rat bags that are just fighting for each other, you know, fighting over this and fighting over that. And the problem is the kids then have to stand up and be the adult. Mum, you know, don't say that, or dad, why are you doing that? And they have to start fighting for their family. And that's kind of what I did. I became the middleman. I was trying to fight for my family because the unity of what they love has been broken. So, and they're trying to fix as much as they can. So I would just love to hear, I'll wrap this up now because I don't want to go on for too long. I would just love to hear from anyone how they would feel about if you could save so much money and not go to court, and you know, obviously get some mediation. Face to face is good. I still highly recommend that with counselling. I still think mediation's a great thing. But if you could not go to court and waste, you know, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 in the court, and instead put that money into an account for your children, for their education, you know, for anything, a car or their future or their wedding, whatever you want to do with that. If you could put that money aside and spend a bit on a course, as I said, a course from Voice for Kids, a practical co-parenting 101 course that will actually give you great insight, because I've done a lot of research on it, into all the different pocket areas that parents struggle with that affect the children. Reading material that you could actually practically and tangibly use. Would you support that? Would you like that? Because I'd love to hear back. Because I really have it in my heart to write something like that. And I really would love to hear from you, because you are my audience. You are the people that come to me all the time asking me for questions, asking me for help about your kids. But, you know, do you know what to do? You know, do you know how to communicate to each other when you separate? Do you know how to talk to your kids after that? Do you know how to work out the finance side of it? Do you know how to put together a parenting plan? Do you know how to really introduce a new parent into the situation of your family? All those things I would love to tackle in this. But I'd love to hear your feedback, because I'm sure a lot of you would have opinions on this. And, you know, I was only speaking to someone last night in regards to this. You know, he's told me that he deals with a lot of parents that come to him about their finance. It's an accountant about their finances and everything like that. And he said, I just see, you know, these two bitter people, so angry, just ready for revenge, and he wants this and she wants that, and he wants 80% of, and it's just a mess. And he was just like, how are you going to do this? How would you be able to speak to these people? You know, are they really going to take the time to do a course? Would they really sit down to do? I said, well, it's tangible. It's something that they can actually do privately at home. It's something that they could actually, you know, do in their own time. They can actually make an agreement to say, look, okay, let's not go to court. Let's make an agreement. Let's both do this Voice for Kids course from home. Get some great advice for ourselves. Print out a parenting plan. Write one up of what best suits our family. Maybe then go and do some bit of mediation as well at the same time. Because at the end of the day, your life has to go forward. When all parents separate, they want at the end their life to go forward. And that's what your goal needs to be. Your life needs to go forward, but it needs to go forward when you've got children in their best interest. It needs to go forward so these kids feel like these are two mature parents that can actually get it together for them. They can actually put their differences aside, as bad as they are. Because, you know, how are you going to go forward and have healing for yourself and meet someone new if you're still carrying the baggage of that? You got to learn that whole, the forgiveness side, you know, the letting go, the taking the backpacks off your back that are just carrying the weight. There's all these things you need to learn, but you know, they're practical, they're tangible, and you can do it. And it all comes down to one word, and it's called choice. And I'll talk about that in the course when I have done it. It's about a choice. It's a choice that you take to make the change. And I have no doubt, this is the one thing I have no doubt in, that every single parent who is separated loves their children. No doubt. But if you love them, you will take that time to put them first. And that's what I'm saying. Would you like something like this? Do you think something like this would help? Forget the court. You know, why pay the lawyers? Why pay the barristers? Why are you throwing your money to them? They love you coming to them. Do you know why? Because you pay their wage. You pay their wage and they know it. And they'll say to you, oh yeah, you should take this to court. You should fight this. You know why they say that? Because you pay their wage. They're not silly. They're not silly. They know exactly what they're doing. And thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars later, they will still convince you. You keep fighting the good fight. You can do this. You can win. And they'll tell both sides, him, oh yeah, you'll win this. They'll tell her, oh, and you'll win this. Of course they're going to say that. That's their job. That's what they're employed to do. Don't do it. Don't waste your money on a decision that you can make instead of the judge making. If you take your situation in your own hands, give yourself time to breathe after you separate. Sit down, do something like this course, this practical co-parenting one-on-one course that I'm going to be doing. Do it. Get some rational thinking. Get some wisdom about it. Get some help about it. Go to some mediation. Then do it yourself. You will save thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can put aside for your kids, put aside to buy yourself a new home because you'll be separated. You both need a roof over your head. Don't be like all these parents that have been sucked dry, that they're either on welfare or they're on such a small income because they're struggling, because they've just sucked each other dry just to win. But who's the winner in all this? The court, the judge, the barrister, the lawyer, the solicitor. They are laughing because they have all your money. So think about it. What would you prefer? To put a small amount of money into a course that's tangible, that's practical, that you can actually apply to your life in the best interest of your kids, do a bit of mediation, or throw all your money into the court? And I'm telling you now, no one walks out a winner. You'll walk out with nothing. You'll walk out with no information. There's no practical help. And that is why I wrote the book, Please Don't Go, and Is It My Fault? And if you look at the endorsement that I had from Barbara Holbrook, who is the former magistrate of the New South Wales Children's Courts, who sadly passed away now, she endorsed my books because she worked in the children's courts for so many years, seeing so many broken children that came through divorce. And she said to me, Carla, finally someone has written a book that's tangible, in a child's jargon, that actually makes sense. And this kind of book is what needs to be in the family court, because all these parents, they go through all this anger, they separate, and they've got nothing tangible in their hand to practically put in some tools to help these children. The court is not going to help you raise your children. The court is not going to give you advice on what to do with your money. The court is not going to teach you how to raise your kids and be well-adjusted children after divorce. They're not going to do that. That's your job. So before you step in there and put all your money in there, think about other practical, tangible ways to help your kids. So anyway, that's me rambling on. And love to hear feedback below. Love you to share this video out with as many people as you can. And I'll be in touch soon. It's Carla Lee, Voice for Kids. See you soon.